Welcome to Powerhouse Primers. Today we're going to be talking about ab training. Hi, I'm your trainer Graham Seekamp right here at Powerhouse Gym in Berlin, Connecticut. And tonight on Powerhouse Primers, we're going to be teaching you all about abdominal training. We're going to do more than just teaching exercises tonight. We're going to think a little bit about cardiovascular. We're also going to be thinking about nutrition. And it's those three things all working in conjunction, which is really going to give you the set of abs that you're looking for. Now, at this time of year, I know we've got the holidays upon us, so we're going to really need you to be thinking extra hard and extra careful about making sure that you're adhering to the second two aspects of what I'm talking about. The working out is easy. It's the paying attention to the foods and making sure that you're getting your cardio, which are the other three prongs of the attack, which is really going to give you the full benefit and the results that you're looking for. So first up is going to be stability ball crunches, which I'm going to show you right now.
Abdominal ball crunches are great because the ball will help to support your lumbar spine, and then as you can see, we're sliding the ribs down towards the pelvis. It's a linear type motion. We're going to start by actually using weights. You saw me using a dumbbell to add extra resistance to make those muscles respond. If that's too much, then just drop the dumbbell and you can do the same exercise with just your body weight, and by holding the hands out over the head, that creates a longer lever against gravity, which will make the exercise challenging.
All right, that's it for the ball crunch. Great exercise. We're going to do 3 sets there. Now, after the ball crunch, we're going to be going into our second exercise, which is a leg raise off of a bench. Again, you can see that we're not using a lot of fancy equipment. These are things that you can even use at your house, definitely things that you can find in a good commercial gym like Powerhouse.
With leg raises off the bench, you want to basically think about sliding your pelvis up towards your rib cage, which is the exact opposite of what we did with the ball crunch. Use resistance held between the sneakers to add a little bit more challenge to the exercise, and make sure when your feet are coming away from the body, you're trying to point your toes away from the body. That will make it a little bit more challenging.
Okay, so we just got off of the leg raises off the bench. 3 sets of those, definitely going to start to throw those abs into a whole nother zone. Now we're going to need what I call the ab wheel. Looks like a lawnmower wheel with some handles on the end, and a good piece of foam padding, something that you can put your knees on. And what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be doing what I call the ab wheel exercise, and we're going to actually modify it so that, again, we're going to want to be pulling from our abs. We don't want to use momentum in the hips. We're also going to move off to each side as we do it, not just the center. And what that's going to do is start to increase the abdominal work that's happening along the sides of our torso and the center at the same time.
All right, now with the ab wheel exercise, you want to be careful that you're not just using momentum to power your hips back. You actually want to try to make the movement come from the midsection. Try to, when you're stretching out, feel tightness through your abs, and then slide your abdominal muscles back towards your hips, rather than just making momentum pull your hips back towards your feet. That's the biggest mistake I see people make with the ab wheel.
Okay, man, 3 sets of those. My abs are burning, yours will be too. Now from here, we did our resistance training piece. Now we're moving on to the second tier that I told you about, which is the cardiovascular piece. A lot of times people do their cardiovascular first before their exercises in the weight room. I, as your personal trainer, will recommend you to do it the other way around. Do your weights, do your exercises in the weight room first, then do your cardio. Reason being is, number one, by the time you get to do your cardio, you'll have burned through a lot of your glycogen stores. That's what your body's going to use for energy. And also, number two, when you're back here in the weight room, chances are you'll have more energy to put forth on getting one more rep or maybe an extra set with some of your abdominal training. So, especially when you're using the dumbbell for things like those leg raises that I was just showing you about. So, do the cardio second. And when we do the cardio, we're not just going to arbitrarily get on there for a half an hour and saunter. We're going to use the treadmill, but we're actually going to start to incorporate higher intensity, and we're going to do some running. Now, even if you're not a runner, and I'm not much of a runner, what we're going to do is we're going to do something called HIIT, H-I-I-T, high intensity interval training. The interval means that we're not doing it for the whole 30 minutes that we're doing cardio. Actually, I'm going to recommend, if you haven't been doing a lot of cardio, just start with about 15 minutes. Start with a little bit of time. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a fast-paced walk, something that's not too challenging, but starts to get our blood flowing and feeling like we have to start to breathe heavy. And then what we're going to do is we're going to work it right into a run. Now, the run may be unrealistic to do that for any long period of time, 15, 20, 30 minutes. And if you're starting off with 15 minutes for your high-intensity cardio, what we're going to do is 2 minutes of walking with 1 minute of running. 2 minutes of walking with 1 minute of running. We're going to use up all 15 minutes just like that. And that's going to be high-intensity interval cardio, where you're going with higher levels of intensity with lower levels of intensity. We're going to start to try to increase your intensity, things that you're not used to doing with your cardio, so that we can burn more calories in less time. Okay, now for our second component of ab training, we're not even training abs at all. You can see I'm on a treadmill doing cardiovascular exercise. And that's because what we did in the weight room with our abdominal exercises is we started to tear down muscle tissue. We started to stimulate muscle tissue in the abs. Now what we're trying to do is burn up calories so that you can actually see those abdominals. And with the next thing that I talk about, we're also going to be talking about how to burn up calories. Here we go, little interval training.
We're pumping up the speed. We're going to go right into a run. We're going to do a run for about a minute here. Now, for many people, running is just unrealistic to do for 15 or 20 minutes worth of cardio. So after a minute, just start to pump the speed back down to your fast-paced walk. Do the fast-paced walk for anywhere between 1 and 2 minutes. Kind of get your wind back again. And right when you start getting comfortable, we're going to pump you back into that run again for another minute. And for the whole time that you're doing your interval training, you're going to go back and forth.
Okay, now for our third and most important component of abdominal training. I wouldn't be doing my job of being a responsible personal trainer unless I touched on this, because this is probably going to be where the majority of your success is either making you or breaking you. And that third component of abdominal training is your nutrition component. Yes, whether you wanted to hear about it or not, you've got to think about what you're putting in your mouth if you're really going to be seeing the best abdominal definition possible. You could be training abs till you're blue in the face. You could be running on a treadmill, walking on a treadmill 7 days a week. You're never truly going to see that good muscle definition in your abs that everybody's looking for unless you really start to think about how you're fueling your body and how you're eating. Now, when we think about that, as far as body fat is concerned, the only way you can really start to lose a lot of body fat is to think about a math equation, which is the amount of calories that come into the body have to equal the amount of calories that are coming out of the body if you're going to start to see body fat loss. The more calories you're eating, the more body weight it's going to be easy to gain. The less calories you're eating, to some degree, if you open up a deficit, now you're going to be giving the body a reason to burn up body fat. Unfortunately, a lot of people start to starve themselves and they don't give themselves enough calories. And yes, you can lose weight. Problem is, we don't want to lose muscle tissue. So it's very important to start to think about food labels and to think about calories. A calorie is a unit of energy. All the food that you eat is measured in calories. When you start to think about foods, what you need to start to do, this happens to be a box of waffles, but anything that's sold in the United States as far as foods has to have a nutrition label on it. You can usually find it on the backs of foods. This is the nutrition information label, and it will tell you how many calories are in a serving. Now, one thing you might want to double check is what a serving size is, because it's different on every type of food. For example, on these waffles, a serving size would actually be 2 waffles, and the amount of calories is 140 calories. Now, most diets, when you take a look at the USDA recommendations, female diets are usually based on about a 1,500 calorie a day diet. Male diets are usually based on about a 2,000 to 2,200 calorie a day diet. And if you're trying to lose body fat, you're going to probably need to be somewhere close to those guidelines. That means if I'm eating 3,500 calories a day and I want to lose body fat, chances are I may be eating too much calories, and I can do a lot of cardio and a lot of ab training, but until I start to bring my calories down and create a deficit, I'm not going to start to see body fat being shed from my body. That is also the reason why you've probably heard that it's very beneficial to be eating basically every 2 to 3 hours. So you're probably eating maybe 4 or 5 meals throughout the day. Now, those aren't Thanksgiving style meals. Those are small, frequent meals, so that you're never getting so hungry that you are just starting to eat whatever's in front of you. If you're working in an office, that could be somebody's candy bowl of M&Ms. You don't want to get to that level. If you're eating every 2 to 3 hours, your energy level is going to be much more constant, and it's going to be much more easy for you to start to make wise and healthy food decisions. My recommendation as a trainer and a bodybuilder is to start to bring foods to work with you in a cooler. Foods that you can prepare. The more things that you prepare, the more you've got control over the amount of calories that you're actually eating in a day. If you're doing a lot of eating out or ordering out, you never really know how many calories you're taking in, and chances are restaurants are in the business of making food taste good, not be lean, and therefore you're probably eating more calories than you need. So my advice as a trainer, try to start to prepare some of your meals, try to start to think ahead, plan ahead, bring those meals with you. It will be much easier for you to stick within your calorie allotment for the day, and it will actually make the exercises that you're doing in the gym, the cardio that you're doing, start to burn up body fat so that you can actually see body fat being shed from your body, and then you'll actually be able to see those abdominals that you're looking for. And one last bit of information, try to think about combining proteins, carbohydrates, and fats together in meals. Don't just eat carbs by themselves. Try to balance them off with either a protein source like a meat or a fish or some type of cottage cheese, or try to incorporate your carbohydrate sources with some healthy fats. It'll help those foods to break down slower so that your energy level will remain more constant, and you can get a lot more longevity from your foods. And there you have it. That's abdominal training 101 right there. You got to think about training the muscles, the abdominal muscles, doing your cardio, and most of all, eating right. I'll see you next time on Powerhouse Primers. I'm your trainer, Graham Seekamp, right here at Powerhouse Gym. Keep training hard and eating right. Today on Powerhouse Primers, we're going to be showing you 4 different back exercises that are going to be great if you're trying to change up what you've been doing in your back, because maybe you feel like you're not getting a lot of results with the time that you're spending in the gym.